Hello everybody, welcome back to the Backlogs channel. And Hogwarts Legacy came out a few years ago at this point. The one big achievement that the Switch 1 was able to achieve throughout its lifetime was being able to get this big, huge, ambitious project of a game onto their console. But with this, obviously, yes, they got the game onto a cartridge, and they got people to be able to buy it, came limitations. Obviously, a game like Hogwarts Legacy isn't going to run completely smoothly on a Switch 1. For a few reasons. Number one, the Switch 1 is running at about in between an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One in power. Now, that doesn't fully matter at the end of the day. What the developer's able to put onto a console and use the console's power that it has and all of its elements, that's what matters. So yes, it might have around the same power as in between an Xbox 360 and Xbox One. That doesn't mean it can only play games that came out during the Xbox 360 and Xbox One time. Hence, why a game that is new like Hogwarts Legacy is able to be put on the console. But again, like I said before, there's limitations to that rule. It is not a modern console by any stretch of the imagination. So, with that being the case, and that being a fact, they had to squish a lot of the game. There's certain sections you cannot reach in the game like you can normally reach in the PS4 or even PS5 version of the game. There is certain cutscenes that just don't work in the game, so they're just cut. There's a whole bunch of cut content, and this version of the game is very different from every other version. It's a specific Switch 1 version. I'd almost go as far as saying, back in the day, when a Lego game or something like that came out, it would not only come out for home consoles, it would also come out for the DS or the PSP. So you'd have a home console experience that was for the Wii, the Xbox 360, the PS3. And then you'd also have a separate game with the same branding, but a completely separate looking and playing and story-wise, everything game that was made for the DS, possibly the 3DS if it was out already, and the PSP. That is kind of the same idea here. The Switch 1 is the same storyline, but it's different graphics for the most part. They are much worse. They are cutscenes that aren't in the game. It's not as bad. It's not a completely made from the ground up game in the Switch 1. It's more of they took this game and they crunched it down to a fourth of the capability it once had. Then they threw it on the Switch 1. That is what we were rocking with, and it was the same price as every other version, even though it was that severely damaged in the process of coming to the Switch 1. We didn't need Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch 1. It was more of a passion project and a way of Nintendo saying, look, we can do this. This is an accomplishment. This is a big deal. But now, the Switch 2 has been revealed. And within that Switch 2 Direct, that very, very diverse Switch 2 Direct that was very controversial all around, there was one big thing that got revealed that I saw specifically. Now, I've always wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy, but I've never had any newer console because I don't care to get an Xbox Series X. I don't care to get a PS5. They don't have enough new on them to care. So I'll gladly keep playing my Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales on my PS4, and I'll gladly keep playing my Halo Guardians and my Halo 5 and all that stuff on my Xbox One. Thank you. I don't need a new console for that. But the Switch 2 is coming out, and Hogwarts Legacy, the Switch 2 edition, is coming out day one alongside Cyberpunk, Deltarune, all these games that we never thought we'd see on Nintendo consoles. Not Deltarune, but Cyberpunk. I mean, that game's gonna be on a complete cartridge, by the way. I haven't talked about that, and I probably won't in a backlog video because that's a lot. That's just one small thing to talk about in a whole video. I'll talk about it now. Cyberpunk being on a whole cartridge is insane. That is insane, and we'll see if there's any chugging, if there's any lagging, if there's any frame rate issues, but they somehow got it all on one cartridge. Anyways, Hogwarts Legacy has now been confirmed to be on the Switch 2, the normal version. It's going to play like every other version of Hogwarts Legacy, and it's going to look very, very good. In fact, there's already comparisons of the game online, so you can see the Switch 1 version to the Switch 2 version. Now, with that all being said, there's a little thing that I want to let you guys know before it ends. There's a sale on Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch 1 right now, making the game, instead of $60, $17. First of all, you might be saying, who cares? I don't want the Switch 1 version. I just want the Switch 2 version. The Switch 1 version is bad. You just said that to me, actually. No, that's what I was thinking. But I recently found out, if you buy the Switch 1 version for this discounted price, which I think actually ends either today or tomorrow, so hop on this. If you buy Hogwarts Legacy for the Switch 1 for $17, you will then have the entire Switch 2 version for $10 as an upgrade pack. Completely just for $10, which would then in turn be saying you have this new version of Hogwarts Legacy for $27 instead of $60. Now, I don't know if anyone's getting this game day one, but I highly recommend, if you want this game specifically for the Switch 2, you take advantage of this where you can, get this really good deal, and it'll be worth your money. $17 plus $10 for you then actually get two versions of a game for cheaper than one version of the exact same second game. So there's absolutely no reason to not do this. I've already checked it out. It is real. The deluxe version is not on sale. The original Hogwarts Legacy is on sale. So if you want all the DLC, that's a different story. But base game is $17 on the Switch 1, which means then you can just buy the upgrade pack for $10 when the Switch 2 comes out day one. And I would say hop on this deal, because it's a very good one. I'm very excited to finally play Hogwarts Legacy. I might just actually talk about it on the Backlogs channel too when I play a decent amount of it. But that's another video for another day. Thank you everybody so much for watching. See you in the next Backlogs video. Bye bye.